welcome back. It's a Table Talk Tuesday here on Liquid Lunch on NEWSMAX TV. I'm John TABACCO, coming to you from the Question Tequila Studios, as we do every day, noon to 2 Eastern, live on NEWSMAX TV. Downtown right here, the New York Stock Exchange, things are going good. Market's up about 40. Bitcoin is up just a little bit, almost 100 points today, but things are looking good there. And things are always looking good here when we bring in our academics. And, tomorrow we have Johnny Eisenbach coming down. He's a professor at Columbia University. But today we have one of my favorites, Fernando Uribe, is here. He's the host of Politically Direct on NJ Insider, and also a professor at Bergen Community College. So he has a sense of what's happening on those campuses out there where a lot of our kids are being programmed in the wrong way. Fernando, thanks for joining us again. I want to talk to you today about the dishonesty of the liberal media. So yesterday I pointed out that our armed forces captured the #1 most wanted terrorist in the world, okay? And when I watch MSNBC in the morning to get my juices flowing, you know what I mean?
Sure.
To see what liberal lies they're spitting out. And the lead story on Morning Joke, as I refer to it, was, the Nationals lost to the Astros last night. And I was like, that's strange. Why would they talk about the Nationals? And then they said, and by the way, Donald Trump got booed at the game. And I'm thinking, isn't this the time they should be talking about, hooray, we caught the the leader of ISIS, and we killed him? How bad is this, what's going on with the liberal media?
Well, John, first of all, thanks for having me back. And one of the things I talk about repeatedly on my podcast is the idea that the president's chances of being reelected next year almost grow exponentially on a daily basis because of the stupidity of the liberal mainstream media. And here's just one more. And as you mentioned, Sunday morning we wake up and what do we hear? That the founder of ISIS, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, was killed. Now, the president ordered a strike as commander-in-chief, and subsequently the ISIS founder was killed. And you know what? You would think that the liberal mainstream media would be ecstatic. They would be sort of overjoyed by yet another foreign policy win by the president, and they're not. And it just seems like they're obsessed with sort of destroying this president on every single turn, whether it's domestic policy or foreign policy, and it's really doing a disservice to them. That's why the people distrust the liberal media, John.
And when you're on the campuses, and you're on the campus almost every day talking to kids that are being educated, and Bergen Community is doing great things, and but kids kind of are almost getting programmed because there's really no voices out there outside the liberal media, so they start believing this stuff.
Absolutely, and one of the things, John, that really upsets me as an academic is this sort of philosophy and rhetoric that academics put out there about sort of American foreign policy and how sort of inhumane it is and how unjust it is. And listen, let's be honest. The president is not perfect. He's a flawed man like everybody else, but he's been doing what he promised. And this is just yet another card that the president can play going into next year. There's a strong economy. There's record unemployment for women, for men and women of color. And now we can add another foreign policy victory. Listen, all we heard in 2012 was the killing of Osama bin Laden, how great that was for President Barack Obama. Well, I'm hoping that the death of al-Baghdadi will also be viewed as a victory for President Trump going into the 2020 election cycle.
Yeah, well, here's one of the funny things. On Sunday evening, I'm looking at my phone and I'm scouring through news. I'm always, trying to do research for the show, and I see this headline on the Washington Post that says Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, austere scholar, dies.
It's very dishonest.
They refer to him as an austere scholar. The guy was the #1 most wanted terrorist. They quick took it down too.
Absolutely.
But I screenshotted it, so I caught it before they switched it. But this is exactly the type of stuff that's like mentally programming kids on campuses.
Absolutely, and whether it's dishonest media outlets like the New York Times or the Washington Post, or even online publications like the Huffington Post or other online like the Young Turks or anything else, it just sort of perpetuates this really dishonest narrative out there. I mean, again, to call al-Baghdadi a religious scholar, he was a murderer, he was a terrorist, and the idea that he's dead, that's a good day for the United States. And you would think that the liberal media would rejoice. Instead, they're worried about why the president wasn't sharing intel with Democrats. Well, you know what? He doesn't trust them. He doesn't trust Nancy Pelosi. He doesn't trust, Chuck Schumer or the other Democrats. And again, I don't want to paint with a broad brush here, but the idea that liberals specifically, John, in Congress are fighting this president on a daily basis. It almost seems like this fixation is going to be their undoing because, again, I think the president will get reelected in 2020.
Yeah, and he said it great. He said, well, did you tell Nancy Pelosi? He said, of course not. She's a leaking machine.
Absolutely.
So, you know, you want to check out Fernando Uribe. He's got this podcast, Politically Direct, on Insider NJ. Talk on the Hudson is one of the
two of them, yes,
that you do also. Fernando is always here for us, and I love dialing into the academic community and finding out what's going on in our college campuses. Fernando, I want to thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, John.
He's always there for us, and just like you're always there for us, and you got to stay right there, because we go from the college campuses to the top of the food chain when Lieutenant Colonel Dan Davis joins us and talks about the real implications of taking down Baghdadi and what we can expect for our forces in the Middle East. Dan Davis coming up right after this. You're watching Liquid Lunch.